How's it going, dudes? Today we'll be taking a look at 4501 Mos Eisley Cantina from 2004. This is the first ever Mos Eisley Cantina set LEGO has produced. They have yet made a few other ones, including a Master Builder series model, which is actually above my head right there. But we're taking a look at the original, the OG, in the blue box version. More on that later. Without further ado, let's get right into the review. Coming just shy of 200 pieces at 193 and 5 minifigures, with 4 of the minifigures being exclusive to the set. We get a really cool dewback, Luke's landspeeder, in sand red, which is so nice. And we have a little Cantina build for Han and Greedo to recreate the scene where Greedo gets wrecked. We'll take a quick look at the box. This is the blue box version. Later in the set's lifespan, they did an original trilogy series box with a different, I guess, bordering outside. But in 2004, every LEGO set at the time had this unified blue pattern, which in my opinion is super freaking ugly, and I'm so glad they stopped doing it. I think around 2005 or 2006 when they stopped doing it. But here's the front of the box. We have the LEGO logo up top, Star Wars, Luke's hand holding the lightsaber, and then we have the age 7 to 12, the set number, the name, the piece count. We flip the box and look at its side, we see another picture of all the builds and setup. On the back of the box, we see a lineup of all the great characters. We have an alternate build, which a lot going on here. We have more pictures of the set. We have the Cantina folded up because it has hinge bricks. You'll see in a bit. We have the landspeeder, the dewback in the background. It looks like he's about to charge the sand trooper. He's giving him a hard time. We also see 2 pictures of the table folding up to reveal a blaster, and then some storage compartment in the sand speeder. At the top of the box, we see in the corner the LEGO logo, the set number, Star Wars, and then a 1-to-1 picture scale of the stormtrooper. Or sand trooper. This is a sand trooper, but they label it as a stormtrooper. Instructions. They're instructions. That's the instructions. First up, we'll take a look at the Luke Skywalker minifigure. And at the time of its release, this was a pretty impressive minifigure. We have leg printing, front printing, no back printing, womp womp. But other than that, it's pretty good. And it does look like Luke Skywalker. You got the little belt. We have the ruffles in the shirt. We have the blank expression. We have the blonde hair. Great figure. Now, this is the one figure that's in the set that isn't exclusive. The rest of the minifigures are set exclusive. So without further ado, let's get into those. Here we have Ben Kenobi. Now, you're probably thinking, Dom, isn't this the exact same one from the original Landspeeder released in '99? And to that, I have to say, you're wrong. This is a figure with updated colors, meaning the light gray is now light bluish gray, and the brown waist piece and torso print is now reddish brown. But other than that, it's the exact same figure with the same, ruffles in the shirt, the beard trim line. He's, got a nice cut going. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good for Ben Kenobi. Bam, Han Solo with dark blue pants. This is a set exclusive, even though there are 2 other Han Solo figures that look very similar to this. The only difference is their pants and the fact that the eyebrows, I think, on this minifigure are printed in reddish brown compared to regular brown. He does include a black blaster, or really just a megaphone with no stud on the end. But yeah, overall, decent minifigure. Han Solo, I think they did a great job, and I feel like this figure still stands to the test of time, that it does look like Han Solo, like a little Harrison Ford. Look at that little smirk. And the highlight minifigure out of the set is this Greedo with amazing arm printing, and that head being molded in dark turquoise. I absolutely love this figure, and it really stands out when it comes to the Star Wars universe. There aren't too many Star Wars minifigures made in dark turquoise, let alone with this super sick arm printing, which unfortunately they have yet to make a Greedo with an arm printing like this one. So this is the only Greedo minifigure with arm printing, and the only one made in dark turquoise, which I think, although it's not technically super accurate to the character, it still makes for a really cool looking minifigure. The torso print has a nice vest print on it. He does have no leg printing, but I feel like the arm printing makes up for it a ton, considering that the fact in 2004 there was barely any minifigures on the market that had arm printing. And the value of this minifigure does show. It's pretty rare, and you'll spend anywhere from $60 to $100 depending on condition. And the last figure we'll be taking a look at for this set is the Sand Trooper. Now, there's nothing too crazy about this figure other than the pauldron. He is essentially just a normal Stormtrooper minifigure with an addition of the orange pauldron, which only appeared in, I believe, 2 other minifigures. The Clone Commander from the 2005 Turbo Tank, along with some other Sand Troopers in a later released Imperial Landing Craft. I believe it's the same pauldron print, but he does have a brick built backpack, which is pretty easy to replicate. pretty good design for its time. And yeah, and underneath the helmet, we have a blank yellow head. Why they didn't give little face expressions, I don't know. I guess while we're talking about the Sand Trooper, it only makes sense to talk about him and his dewback. Now, the dewback is using a lot of the pieces from the early 2000s dinosaur sets, mainly the body, the tail, and legs, with a uniquely molded dewback head, which I think for 2004, they did a phenomenal job. There was even studs for the eyes if you want to give him like googly eyes or make him, I don't know, sparkle or something. But we also have two lightsaber bars on the sides of his cheeks, so you can add a what is this called, a rein, and then that connects to some clips that are placed on the back. We'll take this guy off to see how his saddle is built. It's just plates and some extra backpacks to add to make it look like he has little pouches. But yeah, it's a pretty simple design, but I think this dewback looks fantastic, and compared to the newer one, believe it or not, with me growing up with the Complete Saga video game, I actually prefer this one a bit more. Now, the set does include this weird staff thing made out of antennas and a lightsaber rod. I don't know, I can't remember why the Sand Troopers have this thing. Maybe it's to like rein the dewbacks to tell them what to do. But he also has a rangefinder so you can look out for droids. Now, this dewback isn't super articulated, but the tail does hinge all the way up and all the way down, along with a, you know, you can spin this part of the tail and spin this part of the tail. And then the legs do shift back and forth only a little bit, nothing crazy. They do kind of come off kind of fairly easily. The head does rotate and then also does look up and down. So he's pretty articulated, well more articulated than the new dewback. Here we have Luke's landspeeder. Now, I have to say, this is my favorite landspeeder that LEGO has put out, mainly just for the color scheme. That sand red, although it's not super accurate, I absolutely adore it. It's sand red in a Star Wars set. Now, the build for the landspeeder is actually pretty good in my opinion compared to the first original landspeeder from the, I believe, 99. It's much bigger. It's more accurate to minifigure scale, and it has some really cool details such as the flex tube going around the front to give that round appearance, grills on the top, 3 engines on the back, and I like how one of them is a wrong color, kind of like how in the movie. 2 seats, and on the driver's side there is a little control panel underneath the windscreen. And for those wondering, here's what the speeder looks like with both minifigures inside. They fit pretty comfortably, not too snug but not too far apart. And here is the Mos Eisley Cantina build. It's small, I wish it was a little bit bigger, but it gets the job done. To the right we have a really nice doorway with a Technic ball joint on top, and to the left we have a little bar, which is really nice because it is a cantina. Now, I'm sure you've noticed both side parts of the cantina do fold in thanks to some hinge bricks, so you can condense it and make it a little bit smaller. And here is Greedo and Han Solo having their discussion in the cantina booth. Now, my biggest problem with the set is the lack of an inclusion of a blaster for Greedo himself. He has no accessories, and it's a losing battle. I mean, Greedo can't shoot first if Greedo doesn't have a blaster to shoot Han with. This set is rigged. I'm sorry, Greedo, but in this set, the bricks are stacked against you. Now, back in 2004, this set retailed for $30. If you're looking to pick one up for yourself and to add to your collection nowadays, given the rarity of the minifigures and the, you know, some of those sought-after rare pieces in the set, you'll be paying anywhere from like $150 to $200 depending on the condition of the set and its completion. Yeah, this set's kind of rare. I don't know why. Now, is the set an absolute must-have? In my opinion, no, because there are other cantinas, such as the Master Builder Series one, or the 2014 one, and even I think the 2017 one. There's a lot of cantinas. The main draw to this set is that Greedo minifigure. If you can get your hands on that to add it to your collection, I highly recommend it. It's an amazing minifigure. Now, with all that being said, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Peace.